Liv Morgan's injury has impacted entire women's locker room. Liv Morgan is missed. On the June 16 edition of Raw, Liv Morgan suffered a dislocated shoulder during a match with Kairi Sane. In the days after the show, it was reported that Morgan would be forced to undergo surgery, despite WWE's hopes she would be able to avoid it. As a result, Morgan is expected to miss at least 6 months of action, meaning major plans for Evolution and SummerSlam have had to be changed. With regard to Evolution, it's believed that Liv Morgan was set to work with Nikki Bella in some capacity. Liv Morgan's absence will be felt beyond Evolution. With Liv Morgan out of action, it's been confirmed that Roxanne Perez will take her place alongside Raquel Rodriguez as one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. The pair will team together for the first time at Evolution when they face Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and Sol Ruca and Zarya. Ahead of that defense at Evolution, Rodriguez spoke to SHAK Wrestling about the impact Morgan's injury has had on not only her but the locker room as a whole. The star added that she misses Morgan every day, as they had been traveling together to every show. Her impact, it was bigger than just Evolution. Her getting injured and this impact that it's had, not just on Judgment Day, not just on the women's tag team titles, but on the entire women's locker room is going even far past Evolution, you know? It's very unfortunate when someone has to sit out because of an injury, because of an illness. I know we all have been there. It's really, really tough, and it changes you for the better. It makes you into a warrior because now you're just battling something that you can't control, and so, I know that Liv Morgan is very, very strong. I know she's going to come out of this even tougher than she was before she left this time, and I just want her to know that these tag titles aren't going anywhere. They're gonna be in safe hands. But she is missed every single day, every single trip. I miss her so much because we used to travel every single, where we went together. We were staying together in the same hotels and now it feels like I've lost my right hand and my sister, and so, I'm just trying to keep that communication within us still alive so that she knows that these are still here waiting for her when she comes back. Meanwhile, Kelly has revealed that she turned down an appearance at Evolution. The star wrestled at the original Evolution event in 2018 and was most recently in action in the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. Is this the reason why so many wrestlers are getting injured? Non-wrestling fans like to act like they're better than those of us who are obsessed with the sport. They'll criticize wrestling by calling it fake, as if they know something we don't. Sure, unless you're a small child, you know that wrestling is predetermined, but this doesn't mean that many of the moves aren't real. Nearly every wrestler has suffered injuries in the ring during their careers, breaking bones, tearing ligaments, or worse. A few wrestlers have even died in the ring for the business they love. Today, wrestling is supposed to be safer than ever thanks to advances in medicine and positive developments like WWE's wellness policy. Still, wrestlers in both WWE and AEW are getting injured a lot. In just the last few weeks, we've seen Liv Morgan, Seth Rollins, and Adam Cole seriously hurt, but there might be a reason for that happening. With AEW not having house shows, and WWE pretty much having done away with them, is this causing talent to get hurt more often? Many wrestlers in WWE and AEW have been injured recently. WWE's injury list includes the likes of Kevin Owens, Chad Gable, and Dominic Mysterio. On the AEW side, Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Buddy Matthews are out. Both Seth Rollins and Adam Cole just suffered serious injuries. There have been a plethora of injuries in WWE lately, so much so that it can be hard to keep up. Kevin Owens has a neck injury so severe that it requires surgery, and there are fears he may never wrestle again. The likes of Tama Tonga, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, and Otis are battling injuries. Ilja Dragunov has been gone for months. Drew McIntyre has battled several nagging injuries. And Chad Gable just went under the knife for surgery. Many of those injuries we don't know about until we read a new story, and some of them, like Kevin Owens, are the result of years of punishment, not a certain move gone wrong in one match. But there have been a few injuries seen on WWE TV the last few weeks that occurred during a match and forced WWE to change their plans. Zoe Stark suffered a gruesome leg injury on Raw several weeks ago. Then came Liv Morgan hurting her shoulder again on what looked to be a routine move, forcing the match to be stopped. And on Saturday night's main event, Seth Rollins, who has battled knee injuries in the past, hurt his knee again against LA Knight, which led to a change that saw Knight getting the quick victory. AEW has an unfortunate injury history, with several concussions suffered by the likes of Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and Jon Moxley over the years that were made to look worse when the ref didn't stop the match. They have gotten better at wrestler safety because of the backlash, but AEW injuries are mounting. Jay White has been gone since April. Orange Cassidy has been out for months with a torn pec. Juice Robinson and Sky Blue just returned from leg injuries. Buddy Matthews hurt his ankle and Mark Davis broke his foot. And Eddie Kingston hasn't been seen in 15 months due to a torn ACL. Most heartbreaking of all was the news that Adam Cole may have to retire because of another concussion. Are a lack of house shows causing injury rates to increase? AEW briefly had house shows with the failed House Rules tour. WWE was built on an exhausting live event schedule for decades. With so few house shows, wrestlers have less time to practice and perfect their craft. What is causing all of these injuries? While it can't be proven, many are wondering if it coincides with both AEW and now WWE holding almost no house shows. Outside of a short House Rules tour, AEW has never grown enough to get into the house show business. For WWE though, live events were a big part of who they were for decades. Wrestlers could work 5 days a week every week, moving from small town to small town for house shows. That style of scheduling goes all the way back to the 70s and didn't stop until TKO took over. This was seen as great news. Wrestlers were put under intense physical demands, so doing away with house shows meant that not only could talent spend more time at home with their family, but they could also have more time to heal up and rest too. But now more wrestlers are getting injured than ever, despite such a limited schedule. Is this because wrestlers went from the extreme of competing too much to not enough? To be safe in the ring, wrestlers need to go over their craft as much as possible, perfecting it so that they know how to take and deliver bumps in the best way, while also getting used to the toll on their bodies. Today, wrestlers compete maybe once a week, which means much less time in the ring getting it right. Certainly, they do practice behind closed doors, away from fans, but nothing compares to the fast action of a match in the moment in front of an audience. It's like an NFL player that sits out the preseason to avoid injury, then gets hurt when the regular season starts. So how does wrestling fix this new injury trend? Live event wrestling shows need to make a comeback. There are more injuries today partially because of a more physical style. Wrestlers need more reps in front of fans. House shows are also a way for fans to see wrestling in smaller cities. There will always be injuries in wrestling. To think that you can totally prevent them is ridiculous, but they can surely be lessened in their numbers and severity. Part of the injury trend has to do with the style of the sport today, with it being much more physical and intense. The days of constant armbars and chokeholds are a thing of the past. Now, wrestlers are flipping and flopping in and out of the ring like stuntmen, leaving us in awe and wondering how they're not hurt in every match. In truth, wrestlers are like magicians, able to make a move look extremely painful while being completely protected. But injuries do happen, especially when you're not practicing those high spots a lot. While there is no definitive answer to solve the problem, part of it must come from wrestlers getting more reps. This doesn't mean that WWE needs to go back to 5 shows a week. No one wants that. But what about a show on the weekend to get everything right before performing on TV during the week? That's harder for AEW, who is not in the place to hold well-attended house shows right now, but WWE can. Today's WWE under TKO is money-driven, with shows held only in the biggest of US and international cities. Families going to a WWE show in their smaller town on a Saturday night is a thing of the past. It needs to be brought back, for both the fans and the wrestlers. Nikki Bella shares final message ahead of WWE Evolution. Nikki Bella's return to WWE was originally slated to be part of a major tag team storyline, but a significant injury to Liv Morgan forced the company to scrap the plans. The new details surrounding the creative shift emerged just ahead of Bella's in-ring return at Evolution tonight. On the Love Wrestling podcast, WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Raquel Rodriguez confirmed the company had developed a significant program that would have featured the Bella twins against herself and Liv Morgan. The storyline had already commenced on WWE Raw with interactions between Nikki and Morgan before Morgan suffered a legitimate shoulder injury in June, forcing a complete creative overhaul. As a result of the cancellation, Nikki was instead placed into tonight's Battle Royal. The winner of that match will earn a championship opportunity at Clash in Paris next month. Former WWE writer Vince Russo commented on the situation during his podcast, suggesting that Bella's return was a strategic move to inject star power into the women's division and help boost television ratings. For her part, Nikki has stated that her comeback will not feel complete until her twin sister, Brie Bella, can join her. In the hours leading up to Evolution, Bella has been active on social media, preparing for her return alongside Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.